So we all watched the video, right? So what do you think why Dr. Vicker think that mental health is important for children? Does anyone want to volunteer?
Good child, but more likely to be like to show more love and have more confidence and also less violence towards like everyone else.
Right. So we show empathy towards other person and we behave less violently, correct? So how about Darling's questions? Ling, you can continue.
No, I was gonna ask if you wanna move on to the presentation part.
Okay.
Because there are formal groups. Does anyone want to volunteer to talk about your video, or we will go by numerical order?
Maybe I want to talk about, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So my video is the number 2, the episode 2 of the childhood with so my video is the the episode 2 of the science of love in childhood, and after that we have addressing a lot of like problems about like violence in family. And yeah, you know, this kind of violence have been around for a while now, and the problem go with a lot of consequence affecting many aspects of the society, including the economy, many more, and especially the kids, creating their behavior. During the episode, Mr. Cornelius Williams, the head of child protection at UNICEF, said that the harm done to the children around the world is really worrying. Young children being slapped in the face, girls and boys are forced to engage in sexual acts, minors are killed in their own communities, etc. Violence against children is no one and no boundaries. Accordingly, violence against young children in their families figure shows. 3/4 of children from 2 to 4 years old worldwide, about 300 million children, suffer from acts of psychological pressure, punishment, and corporal punishment by the people who care for the children at home. For example, the parents or grandparents or aunt or the uncle. In 30 countries for which data is available, approximately 6 in 10 of 1 years old are regularly disciplined with violence. Nearly a quarter of 1-year-olds are shaken as punishment, and nearly 1 in 10 are beaten or slapped in the face, head or ear, and body parts. Worldwide, a quarter of the children under the age of 5, which approximately 176 million children, are living with mothers who have been victims of intimate partner violence. As for sexual violence against girls and boys worldwide, around 15 million adolescent girls aged from 15 to 19 have been forced to sex and forced to engage with sexual acts. Only 1% of them who have experienced sexual violence say that they have sought professional service for help. In the 28 country for which data is available, an average of 90% of adolescent girls who have experienced forced sex say that the perpetrator of the first abuse was a cognizance of the child. Data from 6 countries show that the perpetrator of this sexual violence against adolescent boy are often friends, classmate, or partner. Furthermore, the remaining problem of the cause that the parents are not following the policy of the government about the violence is being the lack of understanding about the true value and also affect the culture. They really have no other option. Furthermore, there's a problem around about adverse childhood experience and adversity in many forms: economic stress, mental disorder, substance abuse, conflict, and crime. And this is a double loss for the children themselves being in that kind of situation, because they will have a lack of safety from the one they love, pain with no buffer and experience, but still have to live with it. So some of the solution that to against this kind of like violence to the children, UNICEF is calling on government to urgently act and support the implementation of the 7 strategies to end violence against children, or as we probably know, is Inspire. The organization name Inspire. The strategic guide has been developed by NGO, the World Health Organization, WHO, and the UNICEF, and the Global Collaborating Group to End Violence Against Children. Agree and promote including adopt of coordinated nation action plan to end violence against children and plan to end violence against children, for example, integrating education, social welfare, justice, and health system, as well as communities and children themselves. Thanks for listening, and this is the end of the presentation.
That was awesome. Thank you for your talking. Does anyone want to add their opinions?
I'm sorry, what number did you say?
Group 3.
Okay, my videos is number 3, right? Okay, right. So the third videos of Professor Madrid is mainly talking about factors that attributing to adverse childhood. And as every single videos, she said that loving is important because everybody, not only children, want to love and be loved. So for that reason, loving is the key to a happy and fulfilled life. And although love has been a fixture of philosophy, ethics, and the world's great spiritual traditions since the dawn of record thoughts, it has earned its place as a subject of science recently, especially in nurturing and parenting aspect. And talking about love, we also talking about the adversity of the childhood. And adverse childhood include many typical manifesting include abuses, neglect, household dysfunctions, conflicts or divorced parents, substance abuse, illness, and also socio-economic factors such as financial insecurity, homelessness, discriminations, and collective bullying. Parents' adverse childhood. And about the factors, there are risk factors that existed before the children was born, particularly during the pregnancy period, or highly stressed or suffered violence during pregnancy, the child well-being will be affected negatively. Bad influence during pregnancy can also lead to postpartum depression, having impact on parental nurturing. And children who live in such conditions usually manifest delayed development and problems with behaviors. And as the time goes by, all of the things are accumulated and exacerbated, resulting in a terrible childhood and badly influenced, bad children personality. And not only parents are responsible for this, neighborhood and school might be affected too, because researchers have found out that when children are participated in bad school or going out with bad friends without the intervention from parents or authorities, they often will be bullied or become the bullier, and that lead to deviant growth, and not to mention the stigmatizations from the community, which affect not only the children, but also the parents. And frequent and prolonged adversity can derail early childhood development and affect health and behavior throughout a person's lifetime. For instance, sexual abuse in childhood increased suicidal thoughts for 5 times to 6 times. And Professor Mandrit also talked about how can we break this cycle, like the adverse childhood, and what can we do? So she said that the preparation should start right when the mother or the father decide to have a baby, because parenting skills need to be learned and developed, and parents need support from either ways. We should also talk about some basics such as supply security, accommodations, or financial securities. Schools and neighborhood choice are also important in terms of education and community support. And talking about school, I'm seeing that there are a lot of parents who are being neglectful neglectful over the children's schooling, because they think that studying is only about writing or reading. But I think going to and learning is more than that, because we not only learn about philosophy, we not only learn about math, we not only learn about literature, we learn about social and emotional skills, which is also noticeable and should be cared. So to sum up, I think that adverse childhoods can have a very, very bad impact on children's life down the road, and it can be a trauma that followed by throughout the whole life. So we should break this.
Ting and me. So in the fifth video, Dr. Sego explores the ideal flow as a vital force of life, which is essential for helping children grow and thrive. According to him, love can be meant in many ways. It can be either romantic or platonic. And in this video, he talks about familial love. He explains how our attachments with parents and caregivers in early childhood can affect our relationships throughout life, and why we need to invest in more caring and collaborative communities to support children and their families. From the scientific perspective, the way parents connect with their own children will make influences to every single actions of the child in their entire life. When a caregiver senses what is going on in a child's mind, they can understand behavior, understand why do they act or talk in a specific way, from sensing what's going on in the child's mind and what they're in need of, they will provide them what they want. This will not only secure the familial relationship, but also make the child feel seen and that they're not alone on the path of growing up. Some might think that if my kids need help, then they'll have to tell me themselves or going through it all alone, and think that will help them become more independent. However, kids' problems are not just too much homework or being hungry. There are things that are hard to say, and it's the guardian job to figure out what is wrong and help them to fix it. Pushing kids too much will only lead them to being too mature for their age or even developing mental illness. Diệu Trinh,
Dr. CR said that there are 5 types of attachment. So the first one is avoiding attachment. Emotionally distant, the children in the experience is to be disconnected to everything, even the social life. And when they grow up, they basically say that relationship is not important, and they became needy, angry, and distrustful. The second one is ambivalent attachment. Instead of avoiding you, they click to you, want to be with you because the relationship with you give them the experience of disconsistent. It make you feel it. They make you confused, and they make you think that their feeling is your feeling too. The third is secure attachment. Like in a relationship with secure attachment, the parent let their children go out and about it, like are not for them, and when they come back, they still comfort and insecurity. The number 4 is disorganized attachment. The kids have experience of not being safe with their parent. They feel threatened, and they want to get away from their parent. When the child approach the parent, they feel fear and increase anxiety instead of feeling care and protection from their parent. And the last one is exertion attachment. This type of attachment happens when their parents respond to their children's need sporadically. The care and the protection are sometimes they have it, but sometimes they not. And the child can rely on the parent to be there when they need. So because of that, the children fail to develop any feeling of security from their parent. And doctor also said that there's nothing called perfect parenting. They show up as the parent. There's no way to become a perfect parent, even when you have read or study about it. He make an example like parents should sit down and ask their child that when they scold them, when they feel angry and yell at them, what do they feel? And the parent will try to fix it because everyone has their own problem too. He said that we shouldn't think that children is too young so they can remember anything and they will forget it. So we don't need to care about it and just ignore it. But our brain retain memory since we were born, so it affects a lot on the children.
has anyone got any questions for us? This topic, or we'll have to stop the meeting here. Also, I want to say sorry because it is my first time hosting, so there's still many mistakes.
That's no problems, but I think that this is just my idea that maybe we will have a small discussions about traditional parenting ideas of Vietnamese parents.
Yeah.
Is that it is reasonable to use physical violence, like they don't say it is by physical violence, but they say they can slap you or do something in terms of educating and nurturing. So do you think it is a right idea?
Yeah, I don't support that idea at all because
Yeah.
it's like a normalized abusive relationship. Yeah. They say
So,
that they say that it's a punishment for when they try to do anything wrong. But this
yes.
will not fix the problem, but it create more problems, I think.
Yes. And what about the others? Do anyone here support that kind of etiquette? What about Quang Tu? Your parents have your parents ever like slap you or something? No, maybe this is too personal.
When yeah, my parents slap me and punish me very much.
Okay, so how do you feel about it?
I feel normal because
normal. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
they slap me very much, so I can't feel hurt anymore.
Okay, that's problematic. But what about Hung? Have you ever been bitten or experience any kind of physical punishment?
I do, in fact. I think that is something that we commonly known in Vietnam and many other country because, like, that is the really, like, controversy problem that we need to solve because, like, it's like at my presentation, I already said that it's caused a lot of problem to economic to the economy. So I think we also need to solve this as fast as possible.
Sorry, but I cannot catch up with the ideas that how physical punishment is relating to economy.
Like so by expressing those kind of like physical punishment, it has been like carry out a research that by conflict in house and physical punishment, like the physical punishment in families are causing by conflicts between parents. So there's been research carried out that by because of the conflict between parents, it causing more higher divorce rate between people in future year if these problems remain unsolved. And by doing that, it's not only causing a lot to unemployment rate, which is it is also research carried out that by what I don't remember about this. So it just like because of like the unemployment rate stuff that causing less employee and making a lot of problem in the economy. I just read the article about that, so I really need to have like further research
Okay.
on the problem. So
you have a very macro aspect, a perspective about this. What about something more familiar? Nguyên Phúc, I know Nguyên Phúc, yeah. Diệu Trinh, what is your thought about physical punishment over children?
I don't know. I know like I'm disagree, but agree too. I think that we should have some physical punishment, but like not too usually, not too bad. Just like to make we to let the parent let us know that if we do that again, we're gonna get punished. And instead of doing more physical, I think the parents should give us some other punishment, like in another way.
Okay, but can you give me a particular boundaries, like to which boundary it is wrong to use physical punishment? Like how many slap it is allowed, or how strong the slap is, to your opinion? Okay, okay. Yes, but personally, I have a strong disagree over this over the physical punishment, because firstly, in any in any circumstances, physical punishment is wrong, like both legally wrong, and it is both illegal and ethnically wrong. But I also think that physical punishment is an act of helpless and impotence, because if you have educating and nurturing your children right enough, you shouldn't be to the point to use physical punishment. And it's when you physically if you use physical violence over your children, it's not hurt physically, but it's also hurt emotionally, because I think it is also an act of abuse. So that is my take on these problems. And I think it is a very controversial and interesting opinions. So anyone want to give another aspect, a perspective? It seemed like not. So Zolene, can you end this meeting?
So thank you all for today. See you next week.
Okay, see you. Hope you have a
everyone.
better preparations for